Hello, hello. We got turn 43 of the second round of the tournament. Let's go ahead and hop in. All right. So we've got a bunch of action between now Marignon and Tianchi, so that's heating up a lot. It looks like Tianchi and Calum has maybe slowed down a little bit, but we'll see if there's any big clashes. And then Agartha is continuing to try and suffocate, or no, Atlantis is continuing to try and suffocate Agartha, but we've got a couple of counterattacks, including trying to free his capital. Alright, so we have a Horde from Hell. I believe this is our third Horde from Hell. Easy. Alright, we have a Twice-Born Ancestor Guide. Horde from Hell, though. Are they on hold and attack rare? Some of them are an attack rare, it seems like. Unfortunately, I think he did get off invulnerability. Yeah. So his protection versus mundane is 31. He's going to be real hard for imps to kill. Imps are not strong. Oh, damn. Were these crits because he was fatigued out? Armor defeating hit. Also rolled a massive roll against a 2 for damage. They harassed him down. Where was the other one? Or was it just the one hit? Target lost an arm. Another massive roll. Okay. Some large numbers of effects. They do get 2 attacks for each claw. So I think 5 per square. And there's, what, 8 squares? So 40 times 2, that's like 80 attacks per round. I could see that happening. Alright, so knocks out a thug. I want to see what the gear was again. So pretty cheap for TNG, but a pretty nice grab for Marignon. This is, you probably made this for 2 gems, 2 gems, and 2 gems. So 6 gems worth of kit, 2 death gems, so it's 8 gems. He'll get the mage back via Twice-Born. Although losing an arm hurts unless that affliction gets healed. And yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to check was fatigue. No, he was not fatigued. He had like 40. I don't think 40 has big stat debuffs. I don't have it memorized, but in my head I think it's the badness starts at 50 fatigue. But I'd have to go look it up. In Cassian Forest, we've got another Horde from Hell. I mean, this should work fine. Alright. Then in the Black Marshes. I mean, we've seen... I mean, this is an older Horde from Hell, but he's only lost 5 imps this turn and gotten a fair amount of value. Defended 1 province and took 3. And then we've got Calum attacking Tianchi. Fair amount of birds. Oh, but this is also... This looks like PD. But there's also a sacred, so maybe like a little squad. Earthbound are going to be tough for PD to deal with, though. Archery into the mages is what I'm watching. Yeah, Earthbound hold. Alright, so Calum clears a pretty sizable amount of PD there. Kills a sacred. Only loses 4 crossbows. Yeah, pretty efficient. I like the formation. He put the very high protection sacreds out in front. Alright, then we've got Agartha attacking Atlantis. Here we go, the big army. Do they catch anything? They catch the dragon. Okay. Is it still geared for Curse of Stones? Or is this Earthquake? Earthquake. See Rigor Mortis go up. Looks like the dragon has pieced out. So, a little bit of attrition. Loses 15 Ice Guard. But with the Earthquake, manages to kill a Wizard of High Magics, 4 Servants of the Oracles, a Scout, a Priest, and an Alchemist. So solid gains. Didn't really affect the troops much. They have a lot of armor, but scoring 6 mage kills is excellent. I mean, what was that like? I don't know, 15, we'll call it 1,500 gold worth of mages. And I think the bigger issue at this point is that Agartha can't replace these mages easily. Limited on income, but probably not so limited that he can't recruit mages, but just all the forts have been under siege a lot. So, solid kills. In Emmerich, we've got Marignan attacking Tianchi. Little communion here with some crossbows, some Royal Guard. I mean, I called it little, but it's actually a fairly sizable amount of stuff. We got Horde from Hell pitching in too. Could not have aimed those evocations any better to avoid friendly fire. And the friendly fire is totally worth it too, even if it did happen. So, sacrifices some imps, but routes the PD. Now, does the communion burn out? No. So, Chartmakers score 28 kills, Royal Navigators another 12, and all they sacrifice are 19 imps and 3 crossbows, and they cleared another pretty sizable amount of PD. in the Felden Forest. We've got a scout spotting the Calum army. Let's go ahead and take a look. We haven't seen it in a little bit. So these are the Storm Guard he's been recruiting for fighting in Heat 2. Probably not what I would choose. But I don't know, maybe he feels like he's going to get better value out of them. But I think the difference between Heat 2 and Cold 3 or something is 10 protection. And so they'd be 20 protection in his native dominion, but right now they only have 10. But still, they've still got a shield. And so I'm thinking that's why he's recruiting them over the guys with the short sword and dagger. Could just be the amount of crossbows and whatnot he's running into. And also they have a built-in magic attack, whereas Raven Guard do not. So maybe he's also planning to rely on them to pop Mist Form and invulnerability thugs from TNG. So we've got that going. Then we've got some Bakemono for, I guess, an HP sink for the birds, because we've also brought Draconians, and they're great at HP routing armies. And he's brought some Earthbound as well to provide fire support, and a tanky box around his Pretender, who is casting Elemental Fortitude. What else are we getting? Earth Power, some Temper Flesh. I mean, this probably won't trigger gem usage. We can see what gems are here, though. We've got a fair amount of Earth. That's Summon Earth Power. This is also Summon Earth Power, maybe an Earth Elemental afterwards. Fairly expensive way to do that, but it is an option. Or it could be an AoE buff on the troops to help out their protection. And then we've got the Raven of the Underworld, Death Gems for Rigor Mortis, and then Nature for Relief, and whatever other big nature spells he's got. And then I'm hopeful that this is some sort of Fog Warriors. I think he said he was running up to Army of Bronze. I don't remember, but I don't think he had an 8 yet to do Army of Mist. I think that's in Alteration. I think he's got some Earth Gems too, so probably some more, maybe like a Legions of Steel with that. We'll have to see. But we're not going to see this turn. Alright. Then in Smacia, we've got Marignon with a little body ethereal squad. It might be enough, but lance charges are also pretty nasty. You got a fair number of them. He's also got 2 commanders in case one gets sniped. Alright. Yeah, pretty solid. What does this cost? 12 times 20, 240 gold. 335 gold. Yeah, just over 400 gold, if I did that math right. So, pretty efficient little raid. Then in Ionia, got a couple of commanders. Are these guys? Yeah, they're just doing the illusion spam. I mean, the scouts are okay, but I have to wonder if it's not maybe a little bit better to get a commander that's got a little bit more morale and maybe some better armor. Like maybe a general? Yeah. Because we tried it before with the mounted scouts and they got crossbowed out. A little bit of friendly fire. All depends on the light infantry holding. There we go. What's that here? All right, so kills the scout. In Kafir, we've got a few mechanical men. Is this a merc? It might be a merc. So he does a full script of buffs, and then adds a couple of earth elementals. I think that's a merc. What was that? That was in Kafir? Alright, we're gonna risk it. I'll zoom in really quick, and then... Yeah, so it's Ferris. Okay. And then the other thing I was wondering was TNG. Yeah, like this guy seems a way better commander for it, but I understand just wanting to put it on a 35 gold commander, not wanting to pay extra. But this guy does have 15 protection. What's the upkeep? 76? 20? Yeah, I don't know. Because you are putting... I mean, TNG... I don't think it's on their discount pass. They might have to pay full price for that. So it'd be 3 gems with a hammer. And 3 gems. I mean, the gems at that point, or I guess the item at that point is roughly valued like 3 times the commander. So maybe at that point it's worth it putting it on that guy. I don't know. It's debatable, but now that it's happened twice, he should upgrade if he opts to continue doing it. Alright. In Mudwater Caves, we've got a bunch of Atlanteans running around. In Agartha, we have a Sally. Oh, we've also got a Wizard of High Magics over here with doing some fire elementals. Now, fire elementals are going to struggle against Ice Guard. They have magic attacks. But with enough Skelly spam, you know, maybe they're distracted. These guys are meant to do the killing because they've got armor-piercing attacks for 18. So they should do, is that like 9 damage? And I believe it's to the square, yeah. So they probably 2-tap a square, which would be pretty helpful, along with falling fires and skeletons helping out. So yeah, so they killed them pretty quickly, but they did take some losses. They might HP her out soon. Yeah. So I think the fire elementals did just enough. Let's see. I mean, they did a lot of damage. 13, 10, 8, 8. I'm not seeing them credited for kills, but definitely credited for damage. And then 7, 11, and 4. So, yeah, pretty big difference. I think them getting shrunken forms, I think might reset their log. So we might have missed some of it too. Alright, so that was here. So free Zagartha with a pretty budget group. In the Glen of Justice, we've got another bird army. Not a lot of mage support. We do have oh, I take that back. We've got a Death 4 and an Air 4, and they both got gems. It might not be a lot of physical mages, but it might be the right kind of mages. This shouldn't gym bait, though. Okay. So, scores kills there. TNG going, excuse me, going after the gold mountains. Let's see. So I have an E2, D2. This is a Winds of Death caster, if I've ever seen one. So we have a TNG army. Do they find a target? They do not. Oh gosh, I can't. Why am I trying to click it from a mile away? Alright, so it's a scout. Just pinging, or I guess set to retreat. So presumably this is on a fort then, because there's no PD. Alright, let's take a look at the army. We have more mirrors. We've got a mirror on a commander. This is pretty good. A mirror on a general. Okay. So he is upgrading the commanders when he's got them. And we've got a couple of scouts. Let's see. This guy has one nature gem. I don't know what you do with nature 3 on one gem. Probably some AoE buff, as opposed to a battlefield wide. Then we have a glamour gem, which he can't make use of, but it just comes with the item. It's a lot cheaper than a cornucopia. Then we have the Winds of Death caster, or maybe a Rigor Mortis caster, because he has a Death Mage too, so it could be that. I don't think he would go with Darkness, but he might. The Sacreds might have Spirit Sight. But given that there's two white mages here, and one of them's a thug, I think it's... My best guess is that it's Rigor Mortis. Then we've got another thug here, but... Ichthid Blood. I've never seen this. Breathe underwater. Thick, scaly skin. Does that help his protection? Damn! +6? He has nat protection 14 as a human? So with... I think Iron Skin can scale up to 20, so he can get up to 20 off just Iron Skin. This guy's a really cool thug. Huh. Alright. And he's Earth 3. Well, I mean, we had a lot of armies walk this turn, but no big battles. So hopefully soon. Uh-oh. Okay, he wins with 4 HP. So I'm hopeful we'll get some big battles soon. This is a tough assassination. 44 hit points with Drake Gas. Alright, we have a devil. The devil doesn't have poison resistance. So you got hit by the poison barbs. Five. No more than length 1. So that would be with the barbed tail. Oh, that's a high roll too. Okay, 11 points of damage. I think this devil's toast. He's just gonna kill himself. 14 protection. His stats are trashed now. Although it's not like the Drake has good stats. Okay, so he does manage to physically kill the Drake before he dies. Alright, and then Alteration is cheaper. And we've got Namor. A bunch of barbarians. They should definitely beat this PD. Alright. Then in Calum, got a bunch of long dead. Oh, yeah, they're toast. Big attack rear on the leadership. Calum's had it with these indies. Although now he's gonna HP her out. There's no... How did this guy live? I thought it was done for. Oh, they just all dissolved. Kind of want to see that again. So this was on Calum's cap. He keeps getting hit by these undead. So he immediately kills a Spirehorn warrior. So this is Calum's PD then. Just happened to have a mage patrolling. Manages to roll high on protection. Okay. Only got hit at twice. Yeah, he's just rolling, getting good protection rolls. It was almost disastrous. I hit for 1 point of damage. Deflected with his shield. Good grief. Okay. And then, did he just decide to dissolve? No, he just randomly routed. 30 morale. Okay. I guess this was also their HP route. I'm a little surprised Calum did an HP route, but I guess the PD counts for half, and he did have some stuff patrolling, so, and a few skeletons, so maybe he avoided it. I think it's half. Alright. Gosh, that was close. Alright, so Calum gets to recruit from his capital. Let's go ahead and take a look at TNG, because they're the ones fighting the 1v2 now. So, TNG, they've got gold mountains. Calum has struck back into the Well of Pestilence, cut off some income from TNG. And they've gone on Glen of Justice and popped the fort. So that was here. Which puts TNG in a tough position, because, I mean, they're just getting wave assaulted by Marignon here. Marignon's horde from Helling in front of his army, and then just walking the armies in. So, But, I mean, Tianqi does have this, whoops, does have this sort of set of forts trying to protect himself. So he does have an army in the area. He does have potential raiding parties. But he's lost a fair amount of territory here. I guess Marignon's coming down. So Marignon's working on trying to isolate Patala so that they can siege it down. But there might be enough stuff in here that it could be difficult for Marignon. But if this stuff goes to save Patala, it can't be used to save Glen of Justice, and he's probably going to need all of this to maybe do that. That said, maybe there is a kit where the cat, the Tianqi god, could kill this. So I am curious, because we did see there were 2 main mages here and a thug. We'll have to see. There's also potential that maybe one of these armies could be killed. I mean, this was pretty efficient. That's a fair amount of mages that got mobilized. So that's the Drake. Got more imps. Marignon has not made much progress over here around Gold Mountains, though. Tianqi's got a very strong defense here. And then Calum's also cracked this fort, so Calum's cracked 2 thrones. Okay. So trading the Throne of Air, picking up the Throne of Death. Throne of Death would be fantastic for Calum, because it would let him twice born a bunch of stuff or do a bunch of summons. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do with Death Gems. I don't think he would love going to Death 4. That sounds really bad. Throne of the Artificer is also amazing. So, I mean, that's an obvious claim, but I'm not sure if he'll go for the Throne of Death. We'll have to see. And then I'm not entirely sure what you do as Tianqi, because you've got 3 armies that you've got to deal with. A lot of raiding pressure. You can maybe kill one of these with some... Maybe you can kill one of these with troops. This army might be able to fight on its own. This army, maybe with some sort of testing, you can find a way for the Pretender to kill it. And then you can try to rally troops to go after this fort. But I think in all likelihood, I think we're going to see Tianqi lose the 2 thrones, is my guess. But hopefully we'll get a big battle out of it, at least from my point of view. But yeah, Tianqi in a very rough spot. Pretty strong bit of Diplo from Calum there, giving them the Throne of Air, putting a lot of suspicions of a throne rush on Marignon. And then also swinging Marignon to his side, so he got kind of like a double benefit. And I had my doubts at the time, but I didn't see the cleverness behind it. Okay, and then we've got Atlantis and Agartha. So Agartha's freed 2 of his forts. His army is on the loose again. The Ice Guard is in the neighborhood. This fort is still under siege. Good grief. 1,500 wall strength. Alright. I am a little bit curious, because man moved here. Man didn't move here to Black Peaks. I am a little bit curious if man moves to fight Atlantis. I don't think I'd want to fight Atlantis with this army. Crossbows against a bunch of shielded infantry doesn't sound like a fun time. But maybe he's got enough chaff to kind of stay out in front. I am curious. Maybe he's sending it. I don't know. Maybe he wants to go through here. Maybe I'm not sure what this move is weird to me. I'm curious what his plans are with that. Because if his goal is to get over here to go like vulture or fort off Tianchi, although that window may be closing, but I mean there is a world where maybe he could get up to Sirmiak. But maybe now man just fights Atlantis a bit to try and get bigger. Another interesting possibility would be man redeclaring on Calum. But that seems like it's just joining the losing side. I don't think man would be enough to swing that with Marignan getting involved. So then what do you do as man? I think you ally with position 1. And then it's up to the rest of the lobby to stop Marignan. And you use that ally to try and get bigger. So yeah, maybe you do go after Atlantis. I just think he's gonna want more than this, but I haven't done any testing, so it's not a matchup I'm hugely familiar with. But what's his bless? Chakras, natural protection. If it's mostly Wardens and Kushi, this could be a Wrathful Skies play. Because Wardens are sacred, right? Yeah. And the Kushi are sacred. Yeah, this could be... He might be planning to wipe this Atlantis army with Wrathful Skies. And maybe his Pretender shows up to do that. Okay. And then he goes for Frosted Peaks, I guess. Another alternative is maybe Atlantis backs off this siege. But I doubt it, because he's got 6 cap-only mages here. And he's been on it for forever. So I think this is about to be very interesting, because he didn't bring any Tower Guard for this. And the Tower Guard would get killed by Wrathful Skies. All the Tower Guard are over here. Okay. And then, what does Agartha do? I think you try to defend your 2 forts. There is potential if both these armies are moving for another fight, and they're moving onto Bountiful Land. This army is big enough. You could potentially push one of them. So you could fight into Junal Forest or into Hyperboch or Hyperboci, however you want to pronounce that. He could move into it and try to fight one of these armies individually. But I think another part of Agartha is okay fighting everything Agartha has, or Atlantis has with Rigor Mortis, because the victories are a lot bigger. I'm not... Okay, we've got Forgiving Fathers. We've got some cap-onlys. No real mage support in this army, and then we have the Pretender. So I am curious. Does the Pretender still have gems? It's 2 gems. I don't think that's enough to Earthquake again. Unless he's got a gem meal running around in here. So I anticipate the Pretender will pull back. He might have thought that it would only use 3 Earth Gems to cast with conservative gem usage. But I find that mages will frequently still use extra for fatigue. And so maybe he was planning to do Earthquake again in the next battle, but he might not now. So he might take a traditional fight. And then maybe the dragon goes back and reloads. He could also try dodging and continuing to Earthquake this army. That is another option. But if Agartha frees all 3 of these forts, he's going to continue recruiting a fair bit. And I think the window where you can just peacefully do this is starting to close. Because Marignon's going for a 3rd cap now, and you're still going for your 2nd on Atlantis. And there's solid, an excellent probability that Marignon gets Patala before Atlantis gets Agartha. So I think that puts Atlantis in a very bad spot. Neither of these thrones are forted. Neither have large armies near them, especially if this army gets wiped. So that would be 1, 2. Calum taking this is huge. So Marignon would have 3, 4. He's got this under siege. 5. And then the Satis army probably needs to make a move on Gold Mountains, but that might be a step too far until he secures some of the other stuff. Interesting. Okay. I mean, we're getting pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he just needs 1 down here. Or I guess this one. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's close to everything he needs. So there's definitely a possibility. And he's continuing to scale a fair bit. We've still got a lot of blood hunting, also in Satis, Yellow Mountains. Raylothea's got blood hunting, so he's gonna continue being able to do some of these Horde from Hell casts. All right. I think that's it for everyone. So I'll go ahead and stop here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.